Welcome back to Unfiltered Exposure, a space where we drop the filters, we speak raw truth, and we tell stories that deserve to be seen and heard. So today we're joined by one of my boys. We grew up in Haiti together, We even went to high school back in Haiti. He's a strategic finance and media expert who spent over a decade at companies like Paramount and A&E, studying how people behave and how culture shifts. And on the other side, we have a good friend of mine, a sports psychology consultant and executive coach, helping athletes and high performers build confidence, clarity, and identity beyond their titles. This conversation lives at the intersection of data, mindset, and human behavior. So welcome, Martin, to Unfiltered Exposure.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome, my boy Ron, to Unfiltered Exposure.
First, I will say thank you for the generous intro, and thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get unfiltered. So both of you approach human behavior from different angles, right? Yeah. One through data and media and the other one through mindset and performance. Today, I want to explore where those perspectives collide, especially around relationship, power, and modern culture. So let's start with something everyone is dealing with right now, modern dating. So dating today feels more confusing than ever, even with more access than we've had. My question is, are people dating with intention or just entertaining each other?
Wow. Honestly, I think it really depends. But I think from the perspective when you see it on social media, it's a lot of entertainment, showing off. Oh, I got a guy who bought me flowers. Or I got a guy who took me here. Or I got a woman who cooks for me and does this for me. But then where's the depth? What are you guys really sharing? Is it transactional or is it bigger than that? So it really, I think it depends on the person, but it also depends on the perception you want society to have of you, which AKA social media is that big platform. So dating has become intentional, but with a price tag at the end. That's how I see it. But also not only just a price tag, how you're viewed. I want to make it look like I have the perfect relationship, but then behind closed doors, it's not that great. You barely talk to the person, you barely share things with the person. But then when the camera comes on, it's like, oh, we did this together and we do this together and we have this together. What's the reality and what's the fake? We don't know. So for some, it's intentional. And for others, it's just purely entertainment for clicks and likes.
So what about you, Ron? How do you feel about that?
I think I'm going in the same direction Martin just went. I think I have a more cynical approach. I would say if it's on social media, it's not real. But for coming from somebody who met my wife like online dating, it was.
Where'd you met her? Tinder?
I think we met on Bumble. Yes.
Bumble? Oh.
Yes, we met on Bumble.
That's a white people dating app, bro.
Okay, I briefly was on Bumble. Okay. There's a couple of us on there.
Okay, so here's the thing.
90% of people on Bumble are whites.
Okay, so here's the thing. For me, what was it?
Let me take that back. I met a nice girl on Bumble.
Okay, so for me, I'm a strong component of women empowerment. So for me, what was attractive at the time when I was dating is that the woman had to do the first move. I do believe that I was some sort of hot commodity and I wanted to see the effort. So the thing is, like when you date somebody, even when meeting, you present the version of yourself that you wish you would be. Not really you, because you're on your best behavior. Mm-hmm. You're trying to attract the best thing that you could ever attract. If you know your grade, you can only attract 6 or 10 for that matter. Like you play at that level. But really, when you're at home with like crossing your legs, this is not the you that you present on the dating scene. Mm-hmm. So for me, I knew I'm the kind of guy that goes all in, and if you're not all in on day one, it wouldn't be satisfactory for me.
So you mean like you're always intentional since day one?
Well, yes, intentional. Whether it's serious, whether it's like you would know my intention from the get-go, and then we'll go from there. That's why I see it. But if from that we deviate from, hey, we at the bar right now, oh, we in Miami, we had that ocean front room or stuff like that. If it's for social media, it's not real. The real thing is the thing that you share together, and it's valuable to both of you, and it brings value to you and the other person, and that's what builds the relationship. That for me, that's what makes
You want
worth.
something that's sacred in a way, something
Not
that you guys keep for yourselves.
Okay, so not just sacred. I would say not sacred, but really valuable to the both of us. It doesn't have to be sacred. We can be wicked, but it's us.
Okay, got you.
All right.
All right, so let's be honest. Has the talking stage become emotional limbo?
Yes.
How do you explain that?
Yeah.
Maybe men and women see it differently. For women, especially if the woman starts to have feelings for the guy, but the guy is still kind of like, I'm still trying to feel this out a little bit. His actions and his words can kind of be confusing. And it really just depends on the guy. But from my experience, it does become emotional limbo. Because it's like, I like you. Okay, you like me. We're spending time together. We're moving forward a little bit. But then you start to see regression. And it's almost like for no reason. Like, what's going on? So it's like, and it's not just me that says that. A lot of women say, like, it's hard to be in that talking stage.
Okay.
And you don't want to do too much because you don't want the guy to lose interest, or you don't want the guy to get scared off. So it's like, oh, what do I do? How do I handle this? What's next? And you don't want to say, well, where do we go from here? Because, like, we've been talking for X amount of time. When can we take the next step? And we are apprehensive to have that conversation because we feel like it might push the guy away.
What about you, Ron? How do you feel about that?
That's a great perspective, because I haven't thought of it like that. When she said yes, I would say no, because for me, I think the talking stage is the getting to know you stage.
Yes.
Right? And within getting to know you stage, you have the right to pull back or to want to move forward if what you've seen, what you've experienced so far is going along the way you wanted to go in the beginning. I think what helps is being honest from the front.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Up front.
When you feel like you want to regress, like, okay, I'm getting to know you, but I really don't see us going much further. Do you communicate that, or do you just kind of like ghost a girl?
All right. And then that's when you set the parameters. If this is something you care about, I think from the get-go, before you even decide to meet with the person or entertain to speak with them, you set your parameters and you say, hey, this is what I expect from this. We're gonna talk. We're gonna try to learn to like each other. But in that process, I want you to be frank. I want you to tell me what's not working for you and what's working for you. And like men, they are as good as their character.
Yes.
So if you're fishing, if you're trying to find the right guy, you need to know whether it's a guy. When he says no, it's a no. When he says yes, it's a yes. If it's always in between, that's not the person you can have that kind of interaction with.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I feel myself, I've been victim of that. I move past that. I'm like, oh, she didn't really mean it or whatever. And that's when we fool ourselves and we get ourselves in the...
And that's where a lot of women get in trouble.
Men too, for that matters. Because like
But not a lot of you guys admit that you get into that limbo. That's the thing though. You guys feel the emotional limbo, but you're not going to admit you feel the emotional limbo. Women, we do admit when we feel that in between area. We're like, okay, like, what's going on? You're not really saying nothing. You're not really exploring this. And not only that, the in-between, we try to, because especially if you like the person so much, you want to like give them the benefit of the doubt. You want it to work so hard, so much that it's like, all right, I'm going to bypass this. Maybe you'll like me if I continue being X, Y, and Z, or if I continue showing you this is who I am and I could be this for you. That's when the emotional limbo starts to come into play.
I do. Okay, I hear you, and I would accept that to be the truth. But I think you can see that but coming. Yeah. I am a Haitian man to the core, and Haitian men are known not to be in emotional limbo. When we done, we done. When we in. You will know from the get go. So that whole like, if we like you, we like you.
Yeah.
If we want to go along with some things that we don't like for the sake of whatever we are trying to get out of that relationship, we will pretend, we will play or whatever. By we, minus myself. Okay, so but the thing is, the emotional limbo, it's never a thing, at least for me.
So let me ask you guys this from a behavioral standpoint, right? So who benefits more from ambiguity?
The person that's in control of the situation.
Ooh.
It's not male or female. It's really whoever is in control of the situation. who has the power over the other.
I like that. I like that.
Honestly, because now women are not what we used to be 20, 30 years ago. We are our own kings for ourselves. So we can support ourselves, we can provide for ourselves, we can change our own tires, we can figure things out ourselves, right?
Would that be a queen or a king?
King, queen, it doesn't matter.
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, back in ancient Egyptology, pharaohs were also female.
Yeah.
And they were called pharaohs or they were called queens, but it
Yes.
really doesn't matter. You're
Okay.
still the royalty of your own kingdom. So
Exactly. That's where I wanted
now,
to go. Sorry.
because it's a different time frame, it's not the man that's in power of the situation. It really just depends on who has control of it,
Yeah.
who has the upper hand. It could be the woman or it could be the man. It just depends.
How do you feel about that, Ron?
Well, I agree. It's a matter of who is in power, but really power is really, it vacillates from side to side, from time to time. If you really know what's at play, really the thing is it's know how to play the game. Even at work, I would say holding power depends on the cards you're holding at the time and what it's called for. So in a relationship, I think it's the same. I like to be pragmatic and take that approach. It really depends on who controls the situation, and how you control the situation is what's needed at the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the lady in question controls the situation, but sometimes she makes herself vulnerable, and that the guy needs to step up and really take control, whatever.
I like what you said, but is clarity attractive or does it kill the chase?
I think clarity is always attractive. Why would you want to chase with no clarity? Why would you want to chase in the dark? At least not for me. Some people, they like the thrill of it, but for me, that was never a thing. I'm very analytical. If I am doing this, I'm expecting this outcome. If I do this and the outcome is not here, there must be a problem. Let me debug it. If what I found is that this would never lead to my outcome, I'm out.
Yeah.
Why would I try to, chase anything like that? At least that's not me.
There are a lot of people that
Okay.
do chase in the dark, and they only see what's shined at the moment. So, like in today's society right now, big booties, big boobs, BBL bodies,
Okay.
that's what they're chasing.
Okay.
They're not really chasing the intellect of the individual or of the woman. They're not really chasing, and also it's not just BBLs. It could be that the man's wallet, what he has, his status, his car, what he drives, his career. That's what's being chased.
But
What's in the dark is who they are when you take all those things away. So at the end of the day, you are chasing in the dark, especially if those materialistic things and the physical aspect matter to you more than what they can actually give to you as quality. In today's world, it's a lot of quantity over quality, which is sad.
But that's at the individual level, and that's the
Yes.
responsibility of the individual. But
Mhm.
overall, let's say we know ourselves to be good people, intentional people who know what we want and what we expect from a partner. So that wouldn't.
Okay, so Martin, what do you think about that?
I do think it depends on the individual.
Do you want me to
About like what
reiterate the
men
question?
think what women want.
Exactly.
I do think it depends on the individual, but
Mhm.
if you do look at it as a whole, a lot of men think women want a guy who's gonna provide, pay all the bills, do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not what matters, because every woman is different. But because social media and what society has projected on us, that's what seems like it matters. Like, what can you give me? What can you do for me? What do you have that I can use for myself or take advantage of?
So this might ruffle feathers a little bit, right? So what do women misunderstood about men emotionally?
Sometimes women think that men are not in tune with their emotions, but a lot of times that's not true.
That's one.
Men they mask what they feel way better than women do. Our emotions come out in different ways. In men, unless you know the man pretty well, you're not really going to know what he's going through, because he's not going to show it. He may show it in little ways, but you have to catch it, right? So it really just depends. And women also misunderstand that men feel just like they do, right? And they want what we also want: respect. Respect, love, affection, loyalty, honesty.
Okay.
But that's not going to come out in the same way that a woman would express it. A man's not going to really express it the same way a woman does.
We are conditioned differently. So
Exactly. So you guys more so watch how a woman moves, what she says, how she acts in certain things, how she deals with certain situations, how she is with people. You guys watch and you see. And that's what either builds the attraction or makes the attraction fade. Women,
is it different for women?
Yeah, women, for a lot of us, that could be one of the things too. Watch how you guys are, but also what you say to us. That's why so many of us are romantics. We romanticize because of things men say to us. And we take it, a lot of us take it, and we overanalyze it. And that's another thing that makes us stay longer too. Well, he said this. And then your friend will be like, but his actions don't show it. But then you're like, but why would he say that? It's a lot of, that's why there's like the emotional limbo.
Oh, okay.
There's like so much because he said this, his actions don't show it, but then he's here with me, but then he's away again. Does that make sense?
Let me ask you something wrong, because like knowing you, I could say that you're probably a successful guy, right? So is emotional availability more attractive than success?
It depends on where you are in life. It depends. Like right now, I would say yes, but that's my situation. But when I was in college, I was determined that I wasn't gonna date women at a certain level, and that was intentional because I know what my future was, and I can, I'm very visual. I can visualize it, and at that time, I wanted a certain type of woman to fit into that picture. So yes, having said that, so that's where I was at the time, and that was what was needed. But now emotional availability is prime, especially when you're living with somebody, when you're building with someone. You want them, and you want to bring that peace to them. You want to bring the condition in which they would perform at that level you want them to perform. But I would say probably 5, maybe 10 years ago, I wasn't there. I was like, okay, you got to be successful. I was raised with like a strong black woman. So I grew up in a family with my mom alone. I never saw my dad one day. So I knew what I wanted from a woman. And if it was that's the best example I had. So if it wasn't like that, but now I understand I need to bring that peace that my mom always needed and never really had. So like for me, emotional stability is.
I agree.
How you feel about that?
I agree. Emotional availability is a must. Because then how do you grow? How do you move forward with that person?
So you think emotional availability is more attractive than being successful?
Yes, because anybody can be successful. And if you put your mind to it, and if you're ambitious, success means so many different things for so many different people. Success to you could look different for somebody else. So say there's someone who's a content creator.
Okay.
And they're happy with just getting $3,000 checks a month. For them, that's successful. They're successful. In their mind, they are successful. This is what I wanted. I am content with this. That's their success,
but not successful.
But to them, it could be I'm successful.
Okay,
this is
I'm
what
not
I wanted.
Be combative
yeah,
with that.
success
is
it's such a vague word because everybody sees it differently, right? So the reason I say emotional availability is more attractive is because if you do meet somebody, like for me, I meet a guy, say he's not rich, doesn't have a lot of money, right? But he's putting in the work to get there, to find his own success. He has the ambition. He has the drive. He has a plan. He's organized. I could work with that. Now, if you're emotionally available, but then you're here to kind of coddle me or be there for me, but yet I'm the one with all the ambition. I'm the one with all the drive, and you're just kind of like not doing anything. What are you doing with your life? What happens if I can no longer provide this life and I'm no longer successful? What do we have to fall back on? Then that's when emotional availability kind of takes a backseat.
Emotional availability without security is nothing.
You got to have some sort of security.
Okay.
All right, so I'm glad that you guys are on that, because my next question is, so money changes relationship dynamics, even if people think it doesn't. Does money bring security or control?
That really depends on the relationship you have with that person. So some people, money is a control. Money, especially if there's the breadwinner, I'm paying all the bills, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's more of a control thing. I'm controlling
just like
atmosphere.
I saw a post on my Instagram timeline earlier that what's that lady name? D Wade's wife.
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union, right? And there was a caption that says she felt comfortable cheating on her ex-husband because she was the breadwinner. She was the one making all the money. How do you feel about that?
That's not an excuse to cheat on somebody just because you're the breadwinner. That's, you made a vow. You're married to this person.
Yeah, because you know since day one.
Yeah, this is what this person was about. You married into this. If you felt like you could no longer be faithful or loyal to this person, then cut ties. I don't think that gives you the right to go and cheat on somebody just because you're making more money or you're the breadwinner or because you're paying more of the bills. Now, there are people who think like that. You got a roof over your head because of me. You got this car because of me. You have this because of me. I pay all the bills here, so I can do whatever I want. You get to sit home and be pretty, right? There's a lot of that in today's world. So money can be control, but money can also be security. But that's where partnerships come into play.
I love that word.
That's why you have to build a partnership with somebody. This is what we have going on. This is my dream. This is my ambition. Okay, this is my dream. This is my ambition. How are we gonna create a life together where we're still our two individual selves, but we can still be a partnership?
Yeah.
So let me touch on that. That's for you, Ron. Let's talk about reality. Is 50-50 realistic or idealistic?
Idealistic, like being the numbers guy, I would say it's never 50-50. If it's 50-50, something's wrong. Relationship dynamic. Because,
I like that.
Because like right then and there, what you're trying to do, it's a performance, because you are telling your partner that, hey, I'm at 49, you are at 48. Are we reaching 50 together?
It's like a tally.
That's the performative aspect of it. Someday it's gonna be 95-5. And the person you build that partnership, building on what Martin just said, the person you are in that partnership with is able to carry that load until you're able to do 120 and minus 20. So the balance is always 100, because at times when somebody is in their deathbed and stuff like that, like what do we call that? Is it 100-0? Is it 150 and minus? So it's always a partnership. As long as the goal is 100, we both bring 100.
I love that you said
we both
that.
Bring our 100 is 100. And when one of us can do less than 100, the other person
support each other.
That's where communication comes in. So there's a while ago, I saw this couple on social media, and the woman was talking about, what is this whole thing about 50-50? Who cares about 50-50? She's like, my husband and he'll walk in from home and I'll tell him, I got 20%. That's all I can do today. I got 20%. And I got you. I got the 80. I got you. What do you need? And if he comes home from work and says, listen, I got 10% today. I got nothing. I got you. Just go relax. Go do something to relax.
Yes.
It's a partnership. There's no, I'm doing this, and this is how much you gave today, so I'm going to give this today. Because
that's where the 50-50 becomes problematic, because if you are keeping tab, let me be clear. It may work for some people, but for me, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work for me
because
either.
I grew up in a single parent family.
Same.
And my mom was giving 110 every day. So if she can't do that, but
then again, I feel like they're like men, they have a specific area where they could give you 100%. And women, they have a specific area they could give 100%. Like a man will wake up and go to work and take care of the house, like handiwork and stuff like that, whatever. That's 100%. But for women, they could just get up and like take care of the house, feed the kids, or take the kids to school, pick up the kids and stuff like that. That's 100%. But emotionally, that's what I'm talking about.
I would say it depends. It depends.
That's what I was gonna say.
We are conditioned like that in this society, but somewhere in Africa, and I remember like in African studies, we saw it in movie. I think that the movie was based on one of those tribes where the women, they go to war, they have an army, they do all this stuff. So they've been conditioned like that. So it's not an excuse to say, hey, women and men can do the same thing. I think if we've been conditioned in this society to perform like a certain way, it's okay to accept it, but we can evolve.
Yeah.
At any given time, we can evolve.
I like that you said that, because there's a guy who told me a while back, he was like, I'm not looking for a woman to cook, clean, and do all that for me. I could do that myself. He's like, I have my own house. I cook, I clean, and I cook. He's like, I cook pretty damn good. I take care of my kids.
Who else do
I
that?
do that.
Get a shout out. Shout out to.
Oh my gosh. You said it, but somebody else has said it to me too. So he said that, but someone said it to me recently. Like, I'm not looking for a woman to come clean my house or cook for me or take care of the kids. I'm looking for a partner because I can do all that myself, but I need someone who's going to be here to support me, be there for me, and I do vice versa for her.
Okay.
That's where the partnership comes in.
All right, hear me out. Hot takes.
Hot takes.
Haitian moms from the 80s and 90s are the most opponents of feminism.
Yes.
They teach their boys how to cook, how to clean the house, how to do everything around the house. So, and I didn't understand that until I was ready to look for my life partner. And what you just said was what I told myself. I can do everything. I can do everything around the house. If I'm looking for a life partner, these are things that are not deal breaker for me because I already know how to do that. How you gonna enhance my life? Make me a better man. Make me a more successful person is what I need from you. And those were the things that I was looking in a woman. Yeah. And I thank Haitian mothers for that. And this guy, he's very good. He's very good dude. I see his Instagram. He's right up there.
Yes.
Wait, let me touch on this topic, right? Healing and emotional availability, because we spoke about it earlier. So let me go back to it. So everyone says they healing, but relationships still feel broken. So is healing necessary or being used as an excuse?
It really depends on the situation, depends on the person, and it depends on what they're healing from.
That was going to be my question. What are we healing for?
Yeah. So when it first happens, it's fresh. You think to yourself like, okay, what is it about me that you couldn't be this way with me or build this type of life with me? Why couldn't we have that? So now you start to blame yourself inward. So the healing, your healing has to be from you. It cannot be from what that person, what you perceive that person to think of you. So a lot of us, when we heal, we think it has to be, oh, I got to get over this person, or I have to not think about them or forget them. That's when you love somebody, you will always love them. At the end of the day, that's just life. It may not be the same level of love that you had when you were with them, but there's a level of care that you have. There's a level of care, you know. But healing has to be getting back to you, getting to know yourself.
Okay.
Learning to love yourself.
Okay.
Learning to embrace who you are and learning who you again, which means spending time with yourself, learning to be okay with being alone, learning new things, trying new things, being with different people, which means hanging out with friends, family, going to places you never thought you would go. Healing is not, there's no time frame on healing.
Okay.
We heal from things for the rest of our lives, right? It's just a matter of how are we going to handle it? How are we going to see it? And what are we going to do about it when we get to that point where you have no choice but to move forward?
I like that.
So before we wrapped up, right, I want to ask you guys this. Just want to end with honesty. So what's one truth about your own gender people are not ready to hear? I'm going to go with you first, Martine.
Wow. One truth about my gender that people don't want to hear. We can do anything and everything we want. We are strong and we are built to handle anything that comes our way. We have the strength to do it. And you see it in so many times, in so many stories, movies, books. These are not just fairy tales. This is life. Women are the backbone of our societies. We are. Without us, there would be no life. We carry life. We take care of life. And it's a very hard thing for the opposite gender to acknowledge. Not all of them, but the majority of them. It's very hard for them to acknowledge that we are the backbone.
All right, what about you, Ron? What's one truth about the opposite gender people avoid admitting?
Well, I don't know if I can do this question justice because Martin debated it so eloquently. I don't think I have anything to add to that. In terms of truth that the other gender cannot accept, I would go in the other direction and saying that to the men out there that feel this type of way about women empowerment, you are not it, man. The only reason why you by yourself or you can't stomach it, is because she's doing better than you.
Mm.
Do better, and it's gonna be all fine. It will work out.
I like that.
I like that.
Expect that. Like right now, how can you expect somebody that makes same amount of money as you, who has a job just like you do, work out outside of the house just like you do, to come in the house to do everything, take care of everything, do the inventory of the family, take care of the kids, make sure that your schedule is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about your life is right, and you can't provide that back. I think most of the time that's where the clash is. But in reality, we are in the modern society. Things has evolved, and I think most men need to evolve as well.
So, Martin, where do you think feminism has helped women?
It's empowered us. It's made us know it's given us the power to not only be ourselves, but to go into areas where we weren't welcomed.
Mm.
Like, I'm going to take myself, for example. I am in a white male dominated field, sports psychology, right? It is not easy to go into a space where there's a male coach, male athletes, and say, hey, I want to be able to help your team. I want to create activities and workshops for them, help them have a stronger camaraderie, team building. They're not going to take me very seriously compared to a white male who would come in and say the same thing to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Without any backing. I have backing. The white male won't have backing, but they'll go to him because it's a lot more.
Exactly.
It's what is presented.
Yeah.
Right? Feminism has given me the power to see myself where I can integrate into a field that I love, regardless of who's dominating it or not. I can go to toe to toe with the best of them. I have the knowledge you have.
Yes.
I can, yes, I'm a female, but that also gives me the autonomy to say, I see things from a different perspective than you. Yeah. I can provide a quality that you may not be able to provide, especially to young men. Especially the young men, because now it's teaching them, okay, we have this woman, she's doing this activity with us. I have to be more respectful. I have to be engaged now. It teaches them how to be around a woman while also teaching them leadership, teaching them camaraderie, teaching them how to put their ego to the side, teaches them that as individuals, they can still come together as a team and hold each other accountable. I can still teach these things without having to be a male.
And also how to learn from a woman.
Yes.
Okay. So, like, basically, just to piggyback on that, like, the basis of what feminism is really giving women the same opportunity as men.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt this conversation was needed because most of the time,
Before you go any further, let me ask you this: do you think modern feminism improve relationship between men and women, or it just complicated it?
all right, so like let's go back to what feminism is at the start. It's giving opportunity, like making sure that the little girl that you grow up, like when you have a baby and it turns out to be a girl, that she has the same opportunity that any other person would have. So that's feminism on the base. Modern feminism, I don't know what you define as that, but I would expect it is on the same framework as the beginning of feminism. Does it help a relationship? Of course it does. Why? Okay, so why once I frame it that way, I understood what was needed to be done in our community. Why my daughter should be responsible for everything and not getting the credit for.
Mm-hmm.
So once we at that point as a society, I think it become clear that we need some understanding of what feminism is and the needs for it in our society to make our society better as we evolve. Yes, of course, it helps relationship as opposed to really harm it.
People look at relationships as quantity over quality, or not even that. Equality versus equity, right? Equality, 50-50, we have the same thing divided up, it's equal, right? That doesn't always work like that. Doesn't always work like that. With feminism, modern, if you want to say, it helps the relationship because it brings in that equity now. Now the woman, she's also working, but she's also supporting you, just like you're supporting her, right? I don't have 60% today. Can you add that in, and then I'll give you my little 40%. And then tomorrow you might not even have 40. I might have the 60, right?
Exactly.
That's where the equity comes in. That's where the respect comes in. That's where the partnership comes in. That's how it helps. It builds it, makes it stronger. It is not a weakness. And then that's where things get so like messed up, because people just see it as a negative, and it's not.
Here's what I would add to that. I think it's incumbent upon us to really raise our sons to understand why it is necessary
Yes.
to be an equitable partner in a relationship. Whether it's at work, whether it's with your boss, you need to be equitable. And that, beyond the dignity we bring to the table, is very important. So one thing is, it's easy for people, for narrative to get out of control. Like the idea of if women are empowered, that takes away something from men, I think is BS, and we know it to be true. In household where the women takes the lead, where the father is absent, those kids are as successful as anybody else. I come from one of those families, and I'm as successful as I know. And us people from the diaspora, sometimes one of the parents had to leave and go outside of the country to make a living in hell back then. So we grew up ultimately with one parent in the household, and we became successful. So we have to make sure that we take in consideration those aspects in life and not falling for the narrative that, hey, if you empower this group, therefore you're taking away from something from this other group. It's not, you're just complementing it. Yes. Are there some adjustments to be made? Yes, there are some adjustments to be made, but it's on us to make sure that we understand that as a community, especially in the Black community, and then teach the youth how to navigate through those dynamics, and ultimately that will bring the success and the thriving factor that we all care about.
Respecting those dynamics too.
Right,
that's
so
where it comes.
Okay, so we're gonna try to wrap this up a little bit, right?
Alrighty.
Quick, right? So I'm gonna go with Martin, right? For anyone listening right now, what is one message you have to them? Whether it's like relationship, entrepreneurship, like your vibe plan and all that. What is one message you have for the audience that will help them evolve?
Your vision. How do you see yourself? Doesn't matter how your family sees you. Doesn't matter how your friends see you. Doesn't matter how your teachers see you. How do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself? How do you feel about yourself? When you come to that conclusion and you see that vision, lock in on it. Lock in on that vision. Work toward that vision. And make sure when you do that, you surround yourself with the things that you need to encourage that vision and empower you. That's the message I have. But lock in.
What about you, Ron?
I would say, I don't know. I would say love regardless.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? Don't be afraid of deception. Anything could be disappointing, but it's a matter of how you take it. As you work on yourself, don't be afraid of love. Be the best version of yourself. Can offer to someone. Yeah. Not just to yourself, but the best version you can offer to someone.
And you can do that when you lock in on your vision.
Exactly. I didn't make that connection. You did.
Well.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. This was Unfiltered Exposure Podcast.
Love it.
With my boy Ron and my girl Martine. So
The MVP.
Wrapping up for tonight, and thank you for everyone for listening in. And this episode will be on YouTube. Follow my channel and subscribe for more episodes like this. And I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao. I'll see you.
Bye.